Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick.
This is a less hairy Justin.
And welcome to a slightly different recording setup.
A slightly more civilised.
So today we're going to talk about the Hyena class bomber for the Separatists.
Yeah, now this is a very interesting looking ship. It looks like it will have different loadouts for different pilots.
Yeah, different upgrade slots, different loadouts, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
Looks very, very interesting. We know so far that some have bombs and others have missiles and torpedoes. We don't have all the details on that yet, so we won't talk about that specifically in this video, but when we get all the points and everything revealed, we'll go through that with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
For today, let's have a look at the various upgrades and pilots that have been revealed. First of all, before we go through all the new stuff, let's just have a look at the stuff being reprinted. We have energy shells, most importantly. We have barrage rockets, bomb generator, which we know will work on some pilots, but not others.
One specifically, yeah.
Indeed, and a bunch of new generics. The grappling struts, or as they're called now, the landing struts, function exactly the same as the ones on the Vulture droids. And trajectory simulator, a bunch of really good, important cards that we need on every faction. So Good to see them here, especially all the bombing stuff, because this is the first real bomber the Separatists have. Let's take a look at some of these generic cards. First of all, let's take a look at plasma torpedoes. Now, we previously spoke about this because it was revealed in the FFG stream a few weeks ago. And I just want to revisit this again because we have a bit more context for it now. Now we know what ship it's coming with. Yeah. Plasma torpedoes, attack, target lock, spend 1 charge. You have 2 on this card. During the neutralize result step, critical results are cancelled before hit results. After this attack hits, the defender loses 1 shield. And it attacks range 2 to 3 with 3 red dice.
Now, this is a very interesting looking torpedo. It hopefully will sit somewhere in between the advanced proton torpedo and the proton torpedo.
Yes, it could potentially... I do hesitate to say it could be cheaper. It definitely feels like it's a cut above most missiles, but it definitely feels like it's a cut below proton torpedoes.
Definitely.
And the idea that it's coming out on this particular ship does give me a little bit of hope that it will be efficient enough. Which, of course, also opens up the conversation about jump masters, sick fighters, even the relevance of putting this on like X-Wings and that kind of stuff.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool.
But when we're talking about Hyena bombers, if they're anything like the Vultures, and I don't think they're going to be much more expensive than Vultures, you don't really want to strap a whole heap of points on them. No. So I think it's very important that this is an affordable card. It's going to come down to points because I think there actually is a case to take proton torpedoes on Hyenas in certain archetypes, so this is going to have to be cheap enough to sort of compete with those style of lists. Next up, we have a new missile upgrade card, or rather a new double missile upgrade card, the Diamond Boron Missiles. How boron?
Now, this is a 3 attack dice at range 2 to 3 with 3 charges.
Yep, attack, target lock, spend 1 charge. After this attack hits, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, each ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender, that's friendly or unfriendly, with agility equal to or less than the defender's rolls, 1 attack dice and suffers a hit or crit, whatever they roll, basically.
Yeah. Now, you said earlier that it reminds you a lot of Saturation Salvo.
Now, Saturation Salvo, yes. Let's briefly talk about this because this card's a dog's breakfast.
Yeah, I got this card and I still cannot work this card out.
Now, I don't have it in front of me, but I will just bring it up in front of me because I know if I try to read it without the card in front of me, I'll get something wrong.
Yeah.
So basically, after you perform a torpedo or missile, this was a talent from first edition, if it does not hit, each ship at range 1 of the defender with an agility value less than the squad point cost of the torpedo or missile, I hate that sentence, upgrade card must roll 1 attack die and suffer the hit or crit. So you can see a common thread between these.
Yeah. It is fairly different though.
Yes, I'm not a fan of the whole, check agility against an ability to make them roll. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but it still sounded pretty cool. So it's reminiscent of this design, but it is nowhere near the just stupid dog's breakfast. I don't like Saturation Salvo. Yeah. Saturation Salvo was clearly a card that FFG designed. Oh, let's add splash damage to missiles and torpedoes. But they kept trying to balance it and balance it and balance it, and it just became so utterly complex. The Diamond Boron Missiles maybe took a similar route in terms of its development, but just checking for ships with an agility equal to or less than the ship that you shot is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
That is not... I can see that quite clearly. That is a much easier thing. It's a much easier thing to remember and see on the table. You're not really confused about the effects of this missile.
I think also the fact that it's on a bigger card will help.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I mean, yeah, look at saturation salvo, and wow, they really crammed it on in there, didn't they?
Yeah. Now, personally, I think it reminds me a bit more of the harpoon missile, but without taking...
Careful. That's very dangerous territory there.
Yeah, but without having the harpooned ability inbuilt into it.
It's not about putting a condition on your opponent's ship and triggering it later off like TLT or bombs.
Yeah, it's a one-off thing. It all happens at once. And I think that feels a bit fairer.
Yeah, maybe it's an amalgamation of those two designs, and maybe that's just FFG's way of going, okay, let's just cut away the dumbest parts of those two designs, the complexity of saturation salvo, and the utterly broken nature of harpoon missiles, stick them together on one card, and then we all feel a little bit more happier.
Yeah.
Just hope it's a bit more of a pleasant experience for us while we use those. We also have the electroproton bomb. Now, again, we did talk about this before. Essentially, I won't go through all the details on this again, but this is a bomb that comes with a diffuse token, which means it doesn't detonate the turn you drop it, it detonates the turn after, which is very, very important because it detonates at a range 2 bubble instead of a range 1 bubble and has a whole heap of different effects.
Between all of those, you have either hits, crits, or blanks.
Yeah, and you can get ion tokens, disarm tokens, and you can take shield damage off the electroproton bomb.
Yeah, I think that's if you roll a blank, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither. Look, the rules will be up on the screen for you guys to see. But essentially, FFG have created a bomb that is very, very powerful, but you always have to use that fuse token. That makes it tricky in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not confident that this is going to see a whole heap of meta play. I can't see giving your opponent that much information and getting enough value off of this. I might be wrong. Maybe you can really manufacture those situations. I just can't imagine it myself.
You're going to have to be versing swarms, and then they're all going to have to break away. And I suppose then from that you can then start targeting specific ships.
Yeah, or maybe you jam them in a corner, or you get between a few rocks, that kind of stuff. I can imagine that, but again, it's situational. Honestly, right now, bombing is hard enough without fuse tokens. So I don't know about that, which brings us on to this next card.
Speaking of fuse tokens.
Indeed, the delayed fuses. This modification gives you the option of putting a fuse token on any bomb you drop.
So that gives you the ability for bomblet generator, proton bombs, and seismic charges.
Yes, I don't think we've missed one. No, ion bombs don't exist anymore. Yes, which is very, very interesting. Now, I spent a lot of time before recording this video trying to decide whether I like this effect or not.
And then I came in about 20 minutes later and went, well, you can do this. And you went, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose is pretty much my answer to this. Look, I think putting fuse tokens on bombs 95% of the time is just bad. Asterisks. I think what I like about this is the ability to use it with seismic charges. Yeah. Because seismic charges still has a certain degree of flexibility when they go off. So if you stick a seismic charge between two rocks, it means, yes, you have a lot of lead-in time for your opponent to react to this, but you can still react to what your opponent does by picking the rock. And that feels okay to me.
Yeah. To me, personally, it's more about zoning your opponent's ships than actually using the ability of the bomb, which kind of feels like a waste.
Yeah, I feel like bombs already do a very good job at that.
Yeah.
Admittedly, if the bomb is there for the next turn, it can asterisk do a better job at that.
Yeah.
I feel like bombs are already pretty decent at doing all the things that this helps you do anyway. The great thing is its versatility, and that's what's stopping me from writing this card off completely. The fact that you always get to choose. I like that. I mean, look, you can put this on Electroproton Bomb. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's hard enough to make it hit after 2 turns, after 3. I can't see that being realistic. Really cool design. You know, when I first saw this, I thought, oh no, Guidance Chips is back. No, FFG haven't made the same mistake they did twice with Guidance Chips. I'm glad we don't have things like that in the game. Every missile and torpedo its power level is completely tailored to each card individually. This is a soft buff for all bombs. I can't realistically see this making bombs relevant if they're not already relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my main thoughts on that. Now, before we go on to the pilots, we have one more upgrade card in this new solitary, unique, blah, 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 tactical relay. TA-175.
Yeah, now TA-175 says, after a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 with a calculate on its action bar is destroyed, each friendly ship at range 0 to 3 with a calculate on its action bar gains 1 calculate token.
And currently, every ship on the Separatists have a pilot with calculate.
Yes.
The new Geonosian ship, I forgot what it's called, the big pointy one from Wave 5 does not have any droid pilots. I don't think this is something you're going to run without a heap of vultures or hyenas anyway. So yeah.
I feel like this is going to be great for the swarms, like 6 vultures and a bomber maybe.
Or 6 vultures and a Belbalub, or I don't know the points yet, but there's going to be some kind of combination of hyena bombers and Belbalubs and vultures. It's going to be interesting. The cool thing about this is this does confirm that the hyena bomber can take tactical relays.
Yeah.
Which is good because hyena bombers are already very close to being vultures because they have network calculations. There are things that specifically care about network calculations, so it's almost like they're functioning as the same ship.
Now, we don't know if the tactical relay will be on every single ship.
Yep, very good point.
It may only be on one specific one I'm thinking of.
And it might not be on the ones that, say, take missiles and torpedoes or bombs and like that, so don't assume you can just cram this all on the same thing.
Yeah.
Just speaking generally about this, I am a player that loves Kraken. Kraken is just extra powerful. I'm looking at this as a potential replacement. I'm not entirely convinced, but I'm very excited to try this out.
I think that one will be very good depending on its point cost.
Yes. The key thing I like to fly right now is 1 Belbalub and 6 Vultures, all with energy shell charges. And I honestly don't know. Say this is cost the exact same cost as Kraken, to say that buy-in's the same.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's better, because I think both of these conditionally are fantastic. Kraken still requires you to take the calculate action. It still requires there to be calculate tokens there in the first place. This spams calculate tokens on the drop of a hat.
Yeah, now each ship can always gain this calculate token, even if they've already gained the calculate token.
Even if they've done the action.
Yeah,
Yeah, correct. It just says gain a calculate token. It does not say it can execute a calculate action. So even if they're stressed, blah, 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 just calculates for all, pretty much. And look, the way you usually fly vultures, you typically are going to hit most of your friendly ships with this effect every time it triggers. Very, very excited to play around with this. I'm not entirely there in terms of whether or not it's better than Kraken. Look, we'll wait and see. That's going to be a whole discussion.
Cost.
Yeah, points cost and playtesting and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a fun discussion to have on the channel. Okay, let's take a look at these new pilots. Now, just like the Vulture droids, these guys are all locked into Initiative 1 and 3, barring 1, which we'll get onto in a second. We have the generic Initiative 1 and 3, Techno-Union Bomber and Separatist Bombardment Drone, respectively.
Now, I just want to say one quick thing. The artwork on these cards...
Oh, yeah.
It looks great.
I don't know what FFG are doing with their art recently, but they're doing a fantastic job. Yeah, the Techno-Union Bomber... We also get a preview of what might be an epic ship on the Separatists. Have a look at that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. It could be. I don't know what that ship is, though.
It looks like some kind of generic frigate or like a command drone or something like that. Who knows? We'll talk more about that when we see it.
People in the comments, let us know what it is.
Oh, yeah, you Star Wars lore guys.
Yeah.
You're always correcting me on stuff. Always great fun. Okay, let's talk about some of the actual named pilots, or semi-named, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, Initiative 1, you can field 2 of these. This is the Bactoid prototype. While you perform a special attack, which I'm assuming is proton torpedoes on this particular...
this ship, definitely.
You would expect this pilot to have torpedoes and missiles. While you perform a special attack, if a friendly ship with the network calculations, which is a Hyena or a Vulture, ship ability has a lock on the defender, you may ignore the focus, calculate, or target lock requirement on that attack.
That's... Oh. So you can put barrage rockets on it?
Yep.
Which is quite interesting. That's the way that they're getting around the focus.
Calculate is for energy shell charges, but the target lock, proton torpedoes.
Yeah.
Or maybe plasma torpedoes, depends on which one balances out better. But that's a lot of agency to make proton torpedoes work on an Initiative 1 pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we talk about one of these other ships coming up later on.
Oh, yeah, which only makes it easier.
Yeah.
Basically, one of the biggest problems, apart from the fact that you're stacking a whole heap of points on Initiative 1, yes, let's not ignore that fact. But at Initiative 1, getting a target lock for proton torpedoes is typically very, very difficult. Anything that can give you agency to get around that requirement, having friendly ships that can target lock. There is another one of these that's going to help with that.
Yeah.
Also helps a lot with the DRK-1 probe droid.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be starting to see a bit more play because of these now.
Yeah, and it can go on the Hyena bombers as well.
Yeah.
It's a bomb.
Indeed.
It's sort of a bomb.
Yeah. It uses the device action.
FFG getting really loose with their terminology. I guess devices, that sort of frees it up a bit more. But that's very, very interesting. Let's just quickly revisit DBS 404, Preservation Protocol Not Found. This is Initiative 4. So I
do love that little title down there.
It's fantastic. And really good art too.
Yeah.
We previously saw this on FFG's stream, so we didn't get such a high-res image of this card. You can perform attacks at range 0, primary attacks. While you perform an attack at range 0 to 1, you must roll 1 additional die. After the attack hit, suffers 1 critical damage.
So does that mean that we'll be rolling 4 dice at range 0 to 1? At an attack?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it will. Also, if you take a missile or torpedo that works at range 1, I don't know what this has access to, but I would imagine it has access to both.
That's not a primary attack.
No, but the second clause is while you perform an attack at range 0 to 1.
Oh, wow.
So it gives you more agency with the primary, but it also unlocks your missiles and torpedoes as well. Proton rockets, barrage rockets.
Yeah, no, you've got me thinking now. That's... Ooh.
It's very interesting. It's awkward that it's Initiative 4. I think oftentimes that's more a hindrance than a help.
I'm thinking...
It doesn't hurt.
I'm thinking him and Grievous together.
Yeah.
That's my plan right now.
That could be very, very silly. It has network calculations, but whatever. It, apart from that, does not have anything that helps it work alongside Vulture droids or whatever. So who cares? Pretty much. You can just do anything dumb with this you like. And I like that there is just one pilot that does work outside the scope of just being, a help to Vulture droids and other Hyenas.
Yeah.
But this right here is the jam. Initiative 3, DBS 32C. Why don't you read that for the folks at home?
Yeah, now this says, at the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 1 calculate token to perform a coordinate action. You cannot coordinate ships that do not have the networked calculation ship ability.
So it only works on Vultures and other Hyenas. I don't care. That's really good. That's really good.
He's going to be expensive.
And I imagine that this pilot will also have the tactical relay.
Yeah.
I would expect that.
Also, just quickly, he has the jam action instead of the reload action, so he probably won't have the bombs.
Too. I missed that completely. Well spotted.
Yeah.
I'd imagine this is not going to have bombs. Like, it might have a missile or torpedo, but that'd be it.
Yeah.
It's being a command drone. And look, we spoke before about getting more agency over your proton torpedoes. This is disgusting.
This is the best way to go about it. Calculate, get the target locks. All of a sudden, the Initiative 1 guys can shoot off the proton torpedoes.
That's it.
And you're on your way to winning.
Also, if you put it alongside the Bactoid prototype, you can coordinate, say, a random Vulture to target lock your opponent's ships, and all of those missiles and torpedoes on the Bactoid prototypes gets unlocked.
Yeah.
You can basically use the 1 coordinate to allow access to 2 proton torpedo attacks.
Well, like, you could fly around different ways as well. One could fly left, one could fly right with the Vulture droids and the Hyena bombers on the other side. And you can still get everything off because the Vulture has taken the target lock.
Remember that because it happens at the start of the engagement phase, you can use it to arc dodge. You can use it to barrel roll. You can't boost because none of these ships have access to boost. Whatever. And at the end of the day, if none of that gives you any value, well, you can still calculate and target lock.
Yeah.
You can still just improve one ship's combat effectiveness, even if you're not doing anything dumb and broken. This is really good.
Yeah.
This is obscenely powerful, depending on the costing. Yeah, there's no doubt in either of our minds this is going to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
This is going to be really, really dumb and expensive. But
it's all looking so good right now.
it's looking really, really good. And more to the point, I'm a player that likes to fly a lot of Vulture droids with the energy shells and stuff like that. The fact that we're getting another new torpedo that might just be efficient enough to run on this kind of Vulture / Hyena swarm. We're getting another ship that slots so beautifully into that archetype, helps them with their missiles and torpedoes, but after all of that, it still has network calculation and still functions like a Vulture droid outside all of that, even if that all falls apart.
Yeah, now
which is very nice.
Firstly, at the present moment, I'm flying 2 Belbalubs and 3 Vultures. I'm really considering dropping the second Belbalub for one of these other bombers.
Yes.
I think it's going to look great.
Talking about that, like speculating on points, like I think we can pretty much expect it to be a little bit cheaper than a Belbalub.
Yeah.
But considering the loadout's fluid, that makes it very hard to speculate. So I don't want to say for sure. It's going to be a step above the Vultures, whether that's like a 5-6 point step, whether that's like a full 10 points. Don't know. We'll find out when they come out.
I honestly can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. These look really, really awesome and really just dumb and powerful.
Yeah.
Separatists are going to be a great faction to fly with. They already are. They're going to get better. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, stay tuned as more information on Wave 4 gets spoiled. We will talk about it here on the channel. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Reddit. Please consider supporting the Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all of our existing patrons. You guys absolutely rock. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.